At the Syrian embassy in Moscow, it was all change. Up went the flag of the Syrian rebels to mark the ousting of Bashar al-Assad. Ironically, Syria's leader had fled to Russia, although his exact whereabouts are unknown. The man who has reportedly given Assad asylum was giving out medals to Russian soldiers who'd fought in Ukraine. From Vladimir Putin, no mention of Syria. Events there are a huge blow to the Kremlin. That is because, for nearly a decade, President Putin had poured resources into keeping Assad in power. He became Moscow's man in the Middle East, shored up by Russian firepower. And I'd better stop there because it's about to get very loud indeed. A few years back, we visited Russia's airbase in Syria, Khmeimim. From here, fighter jets were conducting airstrikes on rebel positions. Russian bases in Syria gave it a foothold in the eastern Mediterranean. But without Assad, would it lose that? Today, I asked President Putin's spokesman what would happen to its bases. Dmitry Peskov told me that would be discussed with Syria's new leaders. Losing its staunchest ally in the Middle East, that is painful for the Kremlin. Vladimir Putin had invested heavily in Assad, determined to keep him in power. In the end, it wasn't enough. The Russian public, too, has questions about the last few days. I was surprised our military didn't step in to help Syria's army, Alexander says. But it's good Assad's in Moscow and that we don't abandon our guys. Of course it would have been better if the situation had turned out differently, says Yelena. But things don't always go the way you want them to. Vladimir Putin is used to getting his own way. He hasn't in Syria. Steve Rosenberg, BBC News, Moscow.